Hey everybody, we are back with another draft video today. Today we're doing something a little bit different. It's sort of a stipulation draft, but we're going to be using the Eternal Draft Project data um, to inform like our first, I think, 10 picks is what I decided upon, and we will be picking regardless of faction or color. Where our previous picks, the first 10 picks are going to be only the highest scoring cards in terms of 6 and 7 win percentage from the draft data. We're going to be picking only those cards for the first 10 picks, and after that, once we've settled into like an archetype, like a faction pair, or maybe we'll even be like at that point we'll decide that we're okay to be in like a 5 faction deck or something. From then on, we'll be using the draft data to inform our picks, but not be the ultimate decider, if that makes sense. All right, so let's get to it. So the beginning is going to go a little bit slow, as we're going to have to look up all of these cards, but it should pick up speed after the first 10 or so picks. I know already, because I went through this pack, that Champion of Vengeance is not in the draft data, so we can just skip the Storm Glider. And Storm Glider has a pretty abysmal 23% 6 and 7 win percentage. So that's out. Let's look at Grenade. Grenade's up at 50%. All right, so 50% is a new high water mark here. What about Jawbone Hatchet? 35%. Okay, Voyaging Lumen is at 23%. Xenon Banner is 36%. What about High Branch Sentry? 38%. Whoops. Let's see, what about Dustbind? Or Dustblind? It has not ever been picked, it's not on the data. Trailblaze is at 38%. Journeyman Armorer 43. It's really close. It has a really good just single game win record. Because I've done this, I'm pretty sorrowful about this, but Sorrow Shroud is right at 50%. So right now it's between it and Grenade, and we'll have to look at its single game win percentage to see which one is going to win, unless Roosting Owl can get there for us. Nope, 36%. All right, so Sorrow had a 50% 6 and 7 win percentage, and then a 68.18%. Let's look at Grenade. 64. All right, so sadly our first pick is going to be a shadow card. All right, here we go. Orc Vigilante. 62%. We know Storm Glider is down pretty low from the first pack. What about Humbug? Swarm. 37%. Alright, that can't be the pick. What about Argin Port Banner? There you go. Oh yeah, if I spelled it right, that would help things a lot. 34%. Smith's Hammer, 23%. Ridge Line Watcher, 32. Swear Vengeance has probably not been played, at least not in the data. Stalwart Silverwing is 40%, 61% game win rate. Some people might be surprised by that, but it's not a terrible card. Xenon Cupbearer, 31%. Trailblaze, 38, and Long Shot Marksman is 29%. All right, well, looks like we're going with the Orc Vigilante here. Well, I'd really like to pick Beckoning Lumen, but we'll have to see what the data says. Beckoning Lumen is a 23% 6 and 7 win. I think that just has to do with the fact that it's probably only great paired with or only supposed to be good paired with Shadow and like Life Force, but it's probably fine in Legion if you can get some camels. Then you've got camels in your deck, so sort of goes like that. All right, Job and Hatchet's 35%. Tillier's Choice has a 0% 6 and 7 win percentage. It's only got 4 entries though, so that explains that a little bit. Voyaging Lumen was like 23 or something. Yeah. Pack Hunt has got a probably pretty high win rate. Yeah, 53%. Okay. Cannon Bearers 35. Long Shot Marksman was 29. What about Purify? 39. Trailblaze 38. What about Skywalk? 36. Alright. So Pack Hunt is the winner here. Okay. Stone Powder Heretic. So 25%, 6 and 7 win. Cloud Snake Breeder 57%. Trinkle Scholars 51. Another Pack Hunt, which is 53. Sanguine Sword 30. Tinker is probably higher than it should be. Or is just straight up Tinker? Is it not in the list? It's possible it just hasn't been played. I mean, in the data, I mean, I know it gets played, but it's very strange. Anyways, Inspire Obedience. It's a 50%. So Class State Breeder is currently winning. Well, Fallen Oni 41%. And Cerso 44. Alright, well, Cloud Snake Breeder is the pick here. Blistering Wasp 36. Minotaur. Oathkeeper's 39. Dustbind has not been played. What about Spell Shield? That seems 45. Alright, that's pretty great. Fallen Oni was 41. Cyclops is 37. Xenon Cupbearer is 31. And what about Thunder Hoof? 39. Alright, what about, so is Architect the highest here? 45? I think so. Oathkeeper was 39. Yeah. Alright, Spell Shield Architect. Topaz Drake is not in the data. Strength of many 34%. Copperhole Herald is 41%. So it's the current leader. Lethrai Memory Keeper is 33. Trailblaze is 38. What was Copperhall? 41. Okay. Foothills Alpha is 31 and Sparkbot is 39. All right, so Copperhall Herald. Alright, so Noble Firemane is 45%. Sunglass Sentinel. Oh, yeah, Sunglass, no. Sunglass Sentinel. Sandglass. Oh my goodness, I'm even wearing my glasses, and I can't read this. All right, it's not been in the data. Viper's Bite is at 40%. Noble Fire Main was the 45. Excavation Assistant 52%. This one has been surprising me. It's been like in the beginning part of the drafts, I don't think a lot of people were picking it, and it didn't have a very high percentage, but it's really gone up recently as there's been more and more data added. So Excavation Assistant is currently winning. What about Pit Fighter? 50%. And Xenon Augury 23. Alright, well the pick here is Excavation Assistant. Alluring Ember. Let's see. Where are you at these days? 37%. Grenade is at 50. Dustbind has not been played. Crafty Yeti 39%. And Copper Hall Shieldman is at 30%. Alright, well, Grenade is the pick here. Alluring was set 37. Crafty Yeti was 39. Thread Memory Keeper was 33. And we don't know about Envelop. 29. Alright, well, Crafty Yeti, get in here. Alright, this is theoretically our last pick where we're going solely by the draft data. Forge Wolf, 25. Auric Bully, 34. What was Forge Wolf? 25, okay. And then Cabal Slashers, 31. Alright, well, so Auric Bully is the pick. And now we've got to figure out which way we should go here. There have been a lot of time cards and a few fire cards that are coming late, and it looks like, just based on some of the cards that we have, I mean, we have more like, we've got Auric Bully and Auric Vigilante and a Copper Hall Herald and a Sorrow Shroud if we wanted to go like into like an Argentport, but I'm not a big fan of Shadow. We could also go into like a blue-green, like a Huru, but there's not enough here to make me really want to go into that. And so I think what we're going to do, based on what we've seen, and probably being able to pick up this Alluring Embers, we're going to do like almost like a Praxis Tokens, which I'm not a big fan of, but I sort of feel like that's where we're getting pulled into here. But we should check this Aerialist Kopesh. Maybe it's just like amazing, and it's 46%, 65%. So yeah, maybe we should just go into Argentport. That was a very late Auric Bully. Alright, let's do it. And a Pit Fighter. Alright, so we don't have a ton here to work with, but it's not bad. We might splash the Architect. Alright, so we are in Argentport with maybe a blue splash or a primal splash. So let's look at those cards here. We've got Order of the Spire, which has a 30%, 6 and 7, and a 62% game win rate. We've got Flight Lieutenant, which is 20 and 50. What about Left Right Nightblade? Nightblade 36 and 60. It's a pretty high single game win rate. We've also got Seek Power, which has a very high win rate for just being a power searcher. Let's see, Blackguard Sidearm is 44 and 66. That's probably going to be our pick here. What about Alchemical Blast? 34 and 61. What was Spire again? 30, yeah. So we're gonna go with the Blackguard Sidearm. There's not a ton for us here. There's like the Blood Beetle, which we can just look and see, which is 34 and 60%. which is not too bad. Um, we could try to do like a Swift Blade. 37 and 64. What about Protect? 27, not great. Other option, we talked about splashing blue. So like, what about Static Bolt? 38 and 61. I don't know. What about Torch? Torch should be great, right? Yeah, I think maybe we splash red. There's been a lot of the that 3/3 in Rakano that has Warcry for 3. I can't remember the name right now. So maybe we'll pick some of those up. But right now we're gonna go with Torch because I just think it's our best option. Wow. These are not great for us. We could take a Worn Shield. What's the Worn Shield win rate? It's not in the data. That makes me really want to take it. Desert Marshal is obviously great. 47 and 67. What about Dune Phantom? 53 and 65. Those are very good. Decay is also quite high, 50 and 65, but there's not enough entries. What about Detain? 20%. Scheme? 28 and 50 something. Dust of Brawler's solid. It wears weapons well since it has Overwhelm. We're maybe talking about a red splash, so I think we're gonna go with that. What about Guerrilla Fighter? Yeah, I think we're probably gonna go with the Dust of Brawler. I know it seems weird not taking Desert Marshal, but I'd really love to splash the Torch. So well, I can tell you right now that Temper is good. You almost got a 60%, 6 and 7 win rate and a 72% game win rate, so Temper is great. Amethyst Monument, Amethyst Monument is really solid, 33 and 62. Finest Hour though is probably the pick, right? 41 and 63. It's almost as good as Temper, and we don't have to splash for it. We could also take a unit, which is Minotaur Grunt. It's 36 and 64. Yeah. So I think the picks are going between Finest Hour and Minotaur Grunt. We've already got 3 2-drops. And I know Warcry is important, but I'm kind of leaning towards this Finest Hour here. Alright. Got a shiny Knife Jack, which I'm very tempted to take that. Because I'm at the point now where I'm just working on my foil collection, because I'm almost complete on. I have Omens 100% complete on the 4 of, and then like Empty Throne. I'm begrudgingly like crafting like Idols of Destrin and stuff at this point. All right, so Knife Jack has very solid win rate, 50% 6 and 7, and then almost 70% single game win rate. It's only appeared 10 times, so that's definitely an option. I mean, like a Knife Jack early then with a weapon is pretty solid. What about Pilfer? I'm just curious. So it hasn't appeared in the data at all? That'll be the next stipulation draft. We must take something that if it hasn't appeared in the data ever. What about Inspire? There's also, I'm eyeing the Stone Scar banner down there for our splash. But let's look at Inspire. No, just Inspire. Where is it? Oh, that might have been why I couldn't find Tinker earlier, as I was putting a space behind it. 31 and 61. Well, Life Jack appears to be better than that. Stone's our banner. Casting our cards does seem pretty great. It's not like Stone Scar is going to have a huge opportunity to, or Argentport has a ton of opportunity to define its, you know, splash enablers. But a 1-drop is pretty good, and it's shiny. Oh, this pick. We don't even know that we're splashing red. I mean, we'd like to. But I'm going to take the Knife Jack. Look. Oh, no. I was going to say, look, we're rewarded, but there's a Minotaur Grunt and a Blood Beetle. What about Loyal Watchwing? At 30% and 58, so not amazing. Not terrible. Blood Beetle was decent, right? 34 and 60, and then the Minotaur Grunt is 36 and 64. I think here we probably want to take the banner. Oh, punished. For now, we're gonna take the banner over the mace, just because. Or there's a temper here too, but I'd rather take the fixing before we take another temper. It's also a perfectly playable back alley bouncer. Well, Obsidian Golem sort of goes with the theme, but so does the Renegade Valkyrie. Let's see. Renegade Valkyrie, 22 and 58. Obsidian Golem, 47 and 64. Yep, we're gonna take the Golem here. It's also cheaper. We're gonna take the Stranger over the Bouncer and over the Blast. Man, we are getting sort of rewarded with this 3-faction deck here. Stone Scar, Stranger, Combust. Yes, get in here. Maybe we're just like a Stone Scar deck that splashes green. Sure, we take the rifle because it's the only thing left. Might be playable here. Oh, look at this. Alright, well, see, this is where the data is going to come in handy. We've got the Streetwise Informant, a Jack's Knife, and a Peacekeeper's Prod to really choose from here. So let's check the data. Peacekeeper's Prod is a 40% win rate, 61 single game. Streetwise 35 and 65, so it's made it 7 games fewer, but it has a higher single game win rate. It's been drafted only a few more times. Is that right? Yeah, only 8 more times than Peacekeeper's Prod. That's interesting. Jack's Knife, 39 and 63. Well, I think we're going to go with the Informant. And here's why. Because of the triple justice cost. Right now, all of our fixing is Shadow and Fire based. Like we've got the banners and then also the Strangers, but none of those give us any justice fixing at all. So we're going to go with the Informant. Wow. Bloodletter is probably pretty high, right? No, it's not. It's a 21%. That means that Fallen Oni is better than it. Theoretically. Interesting. That's a 58% game win rate, though. Single game win rate. So maybe people are just getting unlucky or they're first picking it and forcing or something. Alright, so Fallen Oni has only been drafted 12 times. 41% of those times make it to 6 and 7 wins. But it only wins 59% of its games. Let's see, Bloodletter. Bloodletter? Oh my gosh. 21 and 58. So in all aspects, Fallen Oni seems to be better. Interesting. I think I'm going to take Bloodletter, but the reason is that we already have a 1-drop and we've got multiple 2-drops already. And so I think I'd rather take something that has a higher payoff. Fallen Oni is really good in top deck wars, though. You draw your Oni and you just bend their next relevant card, which is pretty great. What about Roosting Owl? That's a consideration. 36 and 62. Alright, we're gonna take the Bloodletter, but I don't really feel good about it. I don't have any reason to take it, right? Like, I'm just sort of talking myself into it. I'm not playing the Hellfire Rifle. But we're doing it. I think it just has to be better, right? Like, alright, Talon is probably the pick here. Talon of Nostrix is just so good. Yeah, 35 and 62. But let's look at Argent-Port Banner. Yeah, we're gonna take the Talon. Well, hey, look, there's a chance for a Champion of Vengeance to find its way into the data. Oathkeeper is just so good. What about Rabble Rouser? Not amazing. Cabal Bludgeoner. It got buffed, so this data might not be super relevant. And there's another Sorrow Shroud. I think we're actually... I think I'm okay taking this 1-drop versus this one. It's really hard to turn on the Triple Justice, which is where we want to be. Triple Shadow should turn on pretty well. I guess it's good with a sidearm. We don't really have flyers yet. We have the Streetwise Informant though, which is the Oathkeeper is great with. So let's go ahead and do the adult pick here, the Oathkeeper. All right, well I guess we have dueling weapons here in the Kopesh versus the Sorrows Shroud. They're both equivalent in terms of wins, approximately. What about Spur On? What? 70% single. Alright, well, it's only got 5 entries, so that will help us better evaluate it if we take it. And we already have one of each of these, of the weapons. I mean, giving an Orc Bully unblockable in the late game is probably pretty good, so let's try it. Alright, here we're just taking a Skeeter. It's the only real playable that we have. Young Gun has a surprisingly high win rate, but I don't think it's in this kind of a deck where it's a splash. Although it's great with weapons, right? But yeah, I mean, the Umbra and Thirster is not very great, but I think there's just a more of a chance that we play this. Although we could just take Young Gun and see how it goes. Let's just do it. Let's take Young Gun. This is a draft data draft, dang it, and we're gonna use the data. Alright, the only pick here is Sentry, so we're gonna take that. I guess we'll take the Memory Keeper. I don't think that we'll play it. And we'll take another Young Gun. Alright, last pack here. Alright, this should be interesting. We've got an Infernal Tyrant. Let's look at it. Oh wow, it makes it. It's only appeared 5 times, but you know, 4 out of those 5, it got to 6 or 7 wins. It has a single game win rate of 78%. That's insane. I think can reasonably cast it as well. We have 2 Stone Scar banners and 2 Stone Scar strangers. There's also a Death Strike, which is very solid. It's been drafted way more times. 52%, 6 and 7 wins, so it gets there more than half the time. It's also foily. What about Dark Return? 45 and 65. Interesting. Let's take Infernal Tyrant. I just am curious. I think we can do it. It seems great with weapons as well. Let's do it. Alright. There's that Crownwatch Deserter I was talking about earlier. But let's look at all of our options here. We've got a Lurking Sangor, which is not in the data. We've got Treachery, which has appeared once and has won 0 games. It has not won a single game. That's pretty astonishing. What about Ceremonial Mask? I bet that's very high. 48 and 69. Yeah, that's pretty good. Being able to buff something and then also kill something in a turn is pretty solid. What about the Crownwatch Deserter? 55 and 69. That's also very good. Yeah, we're gonna take the Deserter. There's also Granite Acolyte, but that's sort of our splash. Although, see, that's the thing. I guess Ceremonial Mask is not it's not our splash, and so we're more likely to cast it. I think Deserter's best on 3. Sangor is just gonna get blocked by a stranger. Let's go with the mask, I think. Let's see, what are our units? We've got 1, 2, we might not play those, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and we're in our last pack, so we have to take the unit. So we will. Oh gosh. I'm probably gonna take Bright Maze Paladin, but these weapons, man. Morning Star is an insane win rate. 51 and 68. Life Drinker is not nearly as good. How about District Infantry? 40 and 63, that's really solid. Stone Scar Magus. 29 to 58. Bright Mace Paladin is, I think, where we have to be, just based on our deck construction at the moment. So that's what we're going to take. Although I really want to take Morningstar. So it goes. I think we probably should take Valor Stranger, but we might take Rapid Shot. Rapid Shot is just so good. Yeah, 41%, 65%. We could also take the Illuminator. $38, $62. Valorous Strangers, 41 and 63. And there's a very great temper down there. We're gonna be so low on units if we don't play the young guns. I really want that rapid shot, but we're gonna take the Valorous Stranger because we need the units. We could pick up our second Knife Jack, or we could take a Recano Stranger, and I'm likely to take the Recano Stranger, just based on needing to be able to fix, because we're going to be definitely like a 3-color kind of deck here. Elder's Feather is very good. What about Subvert? It's not too bad. It doesn't have nearly enough entries to know for sure how great it is, but what about the Feather? 33 and 57, it's fine. We could also take the Back Alley Bouncer. 26 and 59. We should take the unit, but I want the Feather. Ghost Form, what is that? What is that at? It's been played once and has won no games. 0 games won. What about the Longsword? It's pretty good with the young guns, right? 23 and 59. Well, it's won way more games than a Ghost Form has. I think that's probably have to be the pick here. Ooh, that's kind of a gift. The Deserter over here is great. And that's a very late sidearm, which we will take. Reinforce is one of the other cards that has been drafted but never won, I believe. Yeah, it's been drafted and played once, and it's not gotten any wins. So yeah, we'll take the sidearm. And let's put the Backlash in the sideboard. And a last pick Oni Ronin, or a second to last pick Oni Ronin. What is going on? Maybe we're a Recano Splash Shadow deck. Wow. Let's look at Oni Ronin's numbers just for those who are curious. Did I spell it right? There we go, yeah. 42 and 64. Pretty good. And another, yeah, we're probably just Recano with some shadow splashing here. That's interesting. Alright, well that does it for the draft. Let's build this monster. I was like just to restart a little bit when I'm building. Let's put our fixing in first. Alright, so we've got a ton of fire. We've got 4 shadow sources. I'm not sure we can play the Infernal Tyrant if we're not going to be like main. The shadow is our main faction. Like, let's just look at just our Recano deck and see what that looks like. Only got 16 units, that's the problem. But it's very aggressive, which is good. Let's see what adding Justice would do. Or not Justice, but Shadow. Could play this Longsword probably if we're gonna run 2 Young Guns. I like how late in the draft, it just all of a sudden we were a Recano deck. Alright, let's add these 2 as powerful units. And that one as well. Probably don't want the Pit Fighter. It doesn't have evasion on its own, unlike the Brawler. The Brawler doesn't really have evasion, it has pseudo evasion with Overwhelm. I feel Tyrant is probably so strong that we should just run it. Let's hope to get there. Speron had like that insane win rate, right? Kind of want to know if that's accurate-ish. And probably want both sidearms over the Crown Watch sword. The Bloodletter is sort of abysmal. I could see running the Obsidian Golem or a Combust. Not that we have a lot of creatures to sacrifice. I think we run the Obsidian Golem. Leaving the Bloodletter in the sideboard feels weird, but based on the data, I think it's probably right. How many weapons are we running? 1, 2-ish, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think this can be a 16 power deck too, because the curve is pretty low besides these our 3 late game cards. Alright. Let's go ahead and put the banners back in. And then add power and see where that puts us. We had 4 shadow before, that would make 8 shadow. How many justice do we have? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, so that's not enough. How much fire do we have? Should be 3 from strangers, 2 here, 5, so 10. 10 fire, that's pretty good. It's pretty good for a turn 1 young gun, except for some number of them don't come in on turn 1. Well, I guess if we were ever going to see if a deck or if Young Gun was good, this will be the deck to find out. Alright, well, it looks so far so good. I think this didn't end up where I thought we were going to be for the most of the draft, which is sort of interesting, but I'm really happy to have 3 Crown Watch Deserters in our deck. Alright. Cool, let's do this.